Hi, welcome to Celebrity Apprentice, the recap, episode 3. This is Diana Watt. This week they had to do Lords and Taylor's live window dressings for the Ivanka Trump line. The idea was that they had two windows and they had to come up with a creative idea that showed her brand and her product. So the men come up with an idea: Ivanka Trump in the daytime, Ivanka Trump in the nighttime. Their window was very sparsely. The daytime was supposed to be Ivanka Trump's office. And here was this dinky little desk, pastel yellow paints, and three girls that assumingly looked like secretaries. They were not dressed in power outfits. There was one that was dressed sort of like in a picnic outfit. I don't know what that was, a little orange stripy thing. It was really weird looking. Certainly not power. When I think Trump office, I think formidable furniture that says power. I don't think dinky little desk that Clay Aiken's sitting behind. Their nighttime, Ivanka Trump in the nighttime, had this midnight blue background, which Lou Ferrigno told them was too dark. It had a red carpet and red rope, velvet rope, and Arsenio Hall was supposed to be doing the interviews on the red carpet. The problem with this red carpet scene was, A, it was too dark. And once you got the glare of the windows on it, you couldn't see everything. Let's put it that way. And the clothing the women were wearing were not red carpet clothing. Think about red carpet, and you think long, gorgeous gowns. Women do not wear trench coats on the red carpet. That doesn't happen. A red carpet is meant to display, not hide. A trench coat hides, and it was the wrong idea. Lou Ferrigno had said the paint is too dark, but nobody listens to him on that team because it would take effort to actually communicate with him with his hearing problems. He doesn't get half the jokes they tell each other. He's just been on the out since the very beginning because it's more difficult to communicate with him, and it's much easier to tell a joke to somebody who's going to get it and laugh the first time instead of having to slow yourself down and communicate. Over on the women's side, they had met themselves with lots of problems during the thing. But this week, as opposed to the last 2 weeks, they overcame their problems as they happened. The first issue they had was that they had come up with a great idea, and everybody was agreeing and everybody was clicking, and when they got to where they had to build the window sets, the boxes they built them in were a lot smaller and it wouldn't fit all of their ideas. So they had to completely change their idea again, first time. Then the idea was Ivanka Trump in her preconception of her ideas, and then Ivanka Trump with the realization of her ideas and her line coming to fruition. So the first window was supposed to be sketches. The second window was supposed to be pictures with people in the window, and none of the pictures came through. Now I kind of blame Lisa Lampanelli and Debbie Gibson for this. They went to the print shop to pick up everything and didn't go through the stuff to make sure the pictures were there. They just took the packages and left. All they got were the sketches. So 15 minutes before the show is supposed to, or the windows are supposed to go live, there's no pictures and they have no idea. At this moment, Aubrey O'Day jumps in with an idea instantly on the spot and saves the day. They go with the idea, and they win. The women win. They had a few problems with their window, but nothing bad. And for them to win after they had to change their concept not once but twice in a 24-hour period was pretty impressive. Aubrey is one of those women who's very smart. She's a task-oriented. She gets things done. Last week, I thought it did not play well for them because Aubrey, matched up with the Iron Maiden Lisa Lampanelli, were too formidable for their team. They didn't want to listen to anybody. It was their ideas. They knew what they were talking about, and everybody else should just shut up and do it. So they turned their team off last week. This week, Aubrey says, well, Diana needs to listen to our ideas more. And I thought to myself, flashback to last week, Aubrey, you weren't listening to Diana at all. You just basically told her to shut up. So Aubrey is brilliant. I think she's going to go far. I think she's very smart. I think she needs to hold it in on the taking over, and she's got great ideas. but she needs to hold it in and let other people have ideas too in order to work as a team. In the end, it's an individual event, but right now it's a team event, and This week, her idea saved the day. In the boardroom, you could tell she was just chomping at the bit to have someone say, Aubrey saved our lives. Aubrey did it. But nobody really said that because everybody else felt that they'd done something. Aubrey did save the day at the end, and I think she should have gotten a little credit. And I think she was just dying for someone to give her all the credit. Have to give Diana Mendoza huge props. When asked who she would take home, she absolutely refused to answer the question, and she stood up to Donald Trump and said, "We won, and I won't answer that question," because she didn't know she'd won at that point. But she said, "I won't answer that question because everybody here did what they were supposed to, and I'm not going to do that." And they really pushed her and tried to get her to do it, and she wouldn't do it. And so I think that takes a lot. On the guys' side, they lost. Their conversation, of course, centered around Lou Ferrigno, whom none of them really want to hang out with or work with. They just don't want to take the time to do it. And oh, by the way, he gives 110%. And then George Takei, whom none of them really click with either. George is a little different, lovable and a gentleman, but just a little different. He's a lot older and just slower in that he's just not quick, you know, and he's not formidable. And guys, these are a kind of group of guys who are used to being aggressive, and they're not mean guys, they're not bad guys, but they're the kind of guys that say, you know, I'm aggressive, you be aggressive back and we'll be fine. But when they're aggressive in their attitudes and their thoughts and their ideas, they kind of expect everybody else to be aggressive equally back, and they don't understand when somebody isn't, and it doesn't click well with them. So Arsenio got brought to the boardroom because Ivanka did not like the choice of clothing he made. Lou Ferrigno, simply because nobody likes him. And, of course, George, because he was a project manager. In the end, George basically fell on his sword. He said, you know, Arsenio did what he was supposed to do. Lou did what he was supposed to do. And you know, when I look at all the evidence compiled, I basically I'm the one that's responsible, and I'll go home. Now on Celebrity Apprentice, you're not going to hear that. Everybody deflects and blames somebody else. They defend themselves and they blame somebody else. And George said, you know, I guess it was my fault. And he took it for the team, and just, he's such a gentleman. He really is just a kind man, and sometimes I just don't think Celebrity Apprentice is cut up for those kinds of people. Not that everybody else is mean or anything. Now, Michael Andretti. What the heck is this man doing on the show? He stands around and does absolutely nothing and gets a free ride every single week. I don't get it. Does anybody get it? He's like wallpaper, paint, just standing there. And that's it. You don't see him work. I don't see him working. I don't see him talk in the boardroom. He does nothing. And I just don't understand it. Now, supposedly next week he's going to be a big player in the game. So it'll be interesting to see him do anything. But Michael Andretti. Boring. Sorry, guys. Anyhow, that's Celebrity Apprentice. I hope you enjoyed the show. Talk to you next week. Bye.